Hello and welcome to Won't Be Forgetting That, a podcast talking about all of the most awkward and embarrassing moments of people working in the arts and entertainment industry. I'm your podcast host, Seb Muirhead, and today we have a couple of guests. Our first guest is a zookeeper, a pole dancer, a former theatre manager, Clare Manson.
Hello.
It was nice and exciting so far. Yeah, nice. And our second guest is also our first returning guest. They are a low-level acrobat, a mid-level aerialist, an all-level actor, Paul Westbrook.
Didn't quite get the reaction I wanted from Claire.
Ah, beautiful. We're off to a fucking great start with this one so far then, guys.
Sorry, I wasn't really listening.
Fuck me.
Beautiful. Okay, so a
That's
purely,
the single
purely
point of a
audio
podcast.
and no one's listening. I think that might be the theme for the episode.
I think
first
farts
of all,
might be the thing.
Not from me, just you two.
Oh, okay. I do, and I've mentioned this on the podcast before as well. Anyone that doesn't enjoy Brown Talk, they'll probably stop listening by now as well.
Especially because one of my stories actually came from thinking about one of your stories that I want you to tell.
And he's pointing at Claire
Me?
just now.
Yeah.
Again, on purely audio form.
Oh, yeah.
Director things. I'm so sorry, guys. Paul Westbrook as well has been on the podcast before. I did want to get him back on because, unfortunately, if you listen to the Rouge episode, the audio was absolutely dog shit.
Who did the audio for that?
I don't know. That was the problem, wasn't it, Paul?
It was me.
Yeah, it was Paul. A little bit peek behind the curtain there. Unfortunately, Paul may have fucked up the audio. I took the bullet from him in the time. I was trying to be nice, but yeah, if anyone wants to write someone on Instagram or any of the socials and complain about
I
that.
kind of feel like it's the responsibility of the head podcaster.
Head podcaster, that's my new title.
That's
Thank you
you.
very much, guys. But I did want to get Paul back on because, well, firstly, he's an incredibly awkward man, so he's got plenty of stories, but I did want to give him a second go as well. And I'm more than happy to get Sarah Platts back on as well from that episode, and Chrissy Ibrahim, but I'm joking. Chrissy, you can come back on as well. But I do want to firstly thank both of you for coming on the podcast. Claire was one of the first people who reached out to me when I started this podcast, saying that she was really excited to come on it, which I was personally thought was a little bit weird because I never invited her. But here she is, and we're very happy to have you here.
I have a question.
Yes.
How dare you?
Also, who do you think you are?
I'm getting interviewed now. This is good.
I also actually have a question on that.
Yep.
You just said thanks for coming on. Mm-hmm. But where are we? Where are we doing this from?
Exact
good one.
address.
Claire's house.
Yeah. No, I can give out that exact address. If anyone wants to write to me on the socials
I'd
afterwards.
rather you not.
We can talk. I've got a PayPal account and we can set something up. But yes, we're at Claire's mansion just now with her cat. So if you hear any weird
Claire's
background-
Manson.
There we go. There's a bit of fucking wordplay I definitely meant to do there. But I think we should all start this off on a somewhat of our more... Let's get this back on track is what I'm trying to say here. So we all used to work together 100 years ago at previously aforementioned, and I know people have reached out as well saying that I do talk about this place too much.
Have they?
They have actually. So I've had a few people reach out about the podcast so far, and I do want to actually start off by saying I really do appreciate some of the messages people have sent me saying that they really enjoy this and that they're enjoying everything I'm doing with it so far. Genuinely, they are so fucking lovely, and I really want to thank them. And then on the opposite side of that, people that reach out and complain to me about me talking about things too much, I can skip this episode, I reckon.
Don't they know, though, that you only have like 4 friends?
Yes, I don't always.
And they are
interview my
all
friends.
400 years old.
And they're all from the same place.
Yeah, I know. This is the reason why I don't interview my friends, though, is because everyone just starts talking over each other and start bullying me live on air.
To be fair, I don't think all of our stories are going to be from this one place.
No, so again, for the listeners that have been playing along at home, this is a well-known vampire-themed cabaret burlesque restaurant. I've had 1.5 beers and I cannot talk. Restaurant, my apologies, that is no longer operating in the city that we are in just now, and I think that's vague enough for legal reasons.
It's vague and also very descriptive.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Half a Google could find out what this place was, but we're not going to mention it. No
Great.
names. I'm not editing that again. But yes, we all worked there together. Paul and myself were floor people.
Let me just clear something up.
Yes.
I mistakenly employed both of you.
She says mistakenly employed. I think we were both of her favorite people at work there. Yeah.
No, I remember.
Say
the accurate description of you saying you hired us, but then the weird comes out later.
Yes. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll give you
Well,
that.
yes, because everybody puts their best foot forward at an interview, but you both put very bland feet forward.
That's the thing.
And
I had Kmart suit shoes on
you
and like suit trousers, and then I was given the top,
and
a
zero
corset.
personality.
Yeah, and a corset, and I got hired, and I was like, well, fucking great.
So Paul and I went in with the classic dry British sensibility of being like, oh, yes, how are you? Oh, yeah. And we're both great actors. One of us is.
That's why we
And,
were in hospitality.
Yeah. Oh, and still in hospitality. But
Or
we went in-
podcasting.
we went to, yeah, there you go. We went in and we pretended to be normal human beings. And then, I mean,
And it
in all
backfired.
fairness, this place was, I used to wear a mesh tank top and tape up my nipples every day. So it wasn't the most normal place
That's
in the
right,
world.
because they got chafed.
Is that why you tape them?
No,
Yes.
so I said that because I just wanted people to stop commenting on my nipples all the time.
Well, they protruded quite a lot, didn't they?
because they're very small and it was always cold.
Was it quite tight meshing? They wasn't like fishing.
Towards
No,
the end, of
they
it was
offered
quite
him a
tight.
larger size, and he said, "Actually, I prefer the small."
I meant was the meshing tight, not the size.
They offered me larger nipples, and I was like, I would like the smallest ones you have, please, God.
It
And
was
I
a crop
got-
chop.
Yeah.
Was it the
Well, I was wearing
corset?
a cinch as well. So a cinch, for anyone that doesn't know, is like a corset without the breastplates. So it could have been a crop top. You wouldn't even known it. So yeah, your bullying's not going to work. Thank you very much.
Can you add a little sound effect? That's the first time Seb says breast
Yeah.
in the podcast.
Yeah,
and
wait, I've
we'll
got
do
some
a
sound
tally.
effects here. There we go.
Is that one of the free ones that
That
comes?
is absolutely one of the free ones. I don't know how to change them as well.
Can we wait? Have you used these on a previous episode yet?
Yes. And also, two very good friends here who are working in the arts and entertainment industry told me just before I went on the podcast that they haven't listened to any of the previous episodes as well.
I listened to the Rouge one.
Yeah, sorry. They both listened to the Rouge one of which Paul was in.
I only listened to it because I wanted to know, A, if you were any good, and if this was worth going on.
Fair enough.
I think that this
And-
podcast is going to be changing people's minds on if this is any good.
Yes. Just for everyone listening,
button.
Claire pushed that button.
What did the other buttons do?
I also wanted to
Would
know.
you like? You can press the
Can
other
I press
buttons.
them?
Yeah.
Okay, this one.
You
Oh.
have to hold that one down. Rapturous applause. There we go.
Okay, that's dull.
This is a
jingle?
for my other podcast that I do.
Hey, that was good time. Was that
Very
you?
impressive.
Oh wow.
Again,
The-
Paul keeps pointing at people on the podcast.
Oh,
He's pointing
sorry.
at Claire there.
Oh, that's jazzy.
Yeah, it's called horn jazz. It said so on the screen. I'm so sorry for anyone that tuned in expecting this to be a regular episode as well. We will get into some of the stories just but I am wrangling cats just now, people. I am wrangling cats.
Claire does actually have a cat called Kiki, so if you want to have a Kiki, lock the doors because Kiki's not a
come
house.
on.
Have you ever heard that one? I just came up with that. I was like, oh,
know
lock the
what?
doors because Kiki's a house cat.
That's the worst thing I've ever heard in my life as well. Again,
Well-
I can only apologise for my adoring fans and the people that hate me talking about this place we used to work at as well. So let's get into some stories.
Great.
Yes.
I asked if I could start with a fart story that happened this week.
Yes, Paul has given away the punchline of the story, but I'm very happy to start with the story as well.
Shall I start again and you edit?
No, I'm not editing this. I'm leaving in all of the terrible start and I'm leaving in all the terrible sound effects.
He's given
Please.
up podcasting
I'm gonna
after this.
I'm sitting
Right.
in a swivel
Right.
chair, so I'm going to swivel around to Paul and Claire and I are both going to sit here and listen.
Great.
intently.
So I've just come back from a week at an acrobatic convention.
Do you care to give them a shout out?
APAC.
Yeah.
Australian Partner Acro Convention run by Chris Carlos,
Yep.
which is a week-long camp where you can like learn acrobatics and stuff like that.
Cute.
So you can find it on Instagram, partner_acro_Oz.
Oh, this
They
guy's
also
good.
do
Watch out.
they also do one called Spin Fest as well, which is for like fire spinning and like
Paul just did a little spin with his hand there
Yeah.
again on a podcast that
Yes,
nobody can see.
and I was
Yeah.
nodding, and I just realised it's
Oh.
also a podcast.
Yeah.
Yes.
yes.
Go on.
And in last week, I went to a workshop where you do acrobatics with three, so like true acrobatics, and we were learning. Have you ever seen a thigh stand? Where basically, I have to describe it visually, and
That would be-
not visually,
Yes,
audioly.
yeah.
Describe it. You can do it visually if it helps, but
Right.
preferably describe it audibly.
So imagine
Audibly.
someone is standing on the ground, and then they're in like a sitting position.
This is what
Yeah.
we call the base in the
base.
industry. That's right. I'm in circus as well.
Yeah,
What
the
of it?
bottom.
Bottom.
Actually, that's quite relevant to circus. Yeah, cool. And then someone is standing on each leg, a foot on each
Yes.
leg, facing
Step
away, right? And then you're
Yes.
holding their knee.
Yes.
So then the next one up from that is you hold below that person's knee, and they also sit down, and then another person stands on top.
So 3?
3, yeah. So it goes sitting, sitting, standing. So it's like
Yeah.
So the way you get up is the second person jumps onto the bottom person, and then the base holds below the knee.
So they're essentially like they're facing each other in that case.
No. So
They're
the
not,
base
okay.
is in a sitting position.
Yep.
Facing north.
Is it like stacking 2 chairs together and then the third chair you try to stack back to front?
No, everyone is facing the same way. Okay, so let's say it's let's say it was us 3, right? So Seb, you're the tallest, and the ugliest. So you would go at the back. Yeah, and you're facing forwards.
Yep.
I'm in front of you facing forwards. Claire's in front of me facing forwards. I would jump on. You'd be in a sort of sitting position in the air, and then I'd be standing on your legs.
Yep.
And you're holding your hands below my knee.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
so-
at the front.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah, so the front of
okay.
my shin. I would then go into a deep squatting position, grab Claire's hips, and then after 3, we would jump Claire up, and then she would stand on my thighs as well.
Alright,
so then
I
it's
got
like
you.
Seb's sitting and holding me, I'm sitting and holding Claire, but she's standing up.
So 3 chairs stacked the same way.
Correct, yes.
Got it.
Well, 2 chairs and a ladder. Because the last one, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
But in that deep squatting position, you have to really squat. So the arse is basically in the face.
Yep.
Which is kind of horrible. And this guy that I just met in this workshop, we went 3, 2, 1, and I went to lift this girl up, and I just farted in his face. I mean, fully farted. He was very good about it, so he didn't laugh or drop. He was like, oh, and there's people spotting as well, and everyone went, oh, and I went, yeah, let's come down. And I just said, oh, look, I'm really sorry, yeah, you're gonna get pink eye, tried to make a thing of it.
Yeah.
He was like, and then he goes, it's fine, I write fart fiction. I was like, sorry, what? He was like, fart fiction.
Fart fiction.
I was like,
I think
okay.
we all want clarification. You're saying fart. Fiction.
Fart fiction.
F-A-R-T.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I think he's making a joke, like,
Yeah.
he
Like
writes
fan
erotic
fiction,
Yeah,
yeah.
erotic fiction, fan fiction, fart fiction. I was like, didn't think anything of it. But at the end of the week, there's like a little renegade style show, so you can basically sit on a couch, and if you it's an open mic night for random weird stuff. He gets up and he reads some of his fart fiction. Yeah, so he actually does fiction about farts in erotic fiction style.
No,
erotic
it is
as well.
erotic.
No, it's not. It's just in the style. So he'd be like, Tina was at the office. She felt the gurgling of her stomach. The big gaseous cloud exited her throbbing sphincter. Yeah, like that. Yeah.
Throbbing
Yeah.
sphincters.
Is there a market for that?
No, but if there is, his Instagram is Rob Slack or Slack Rob. He's a slackliner and a rock climbing teacher and a fart fictionist.
Wow, I really hope we don't have to edit that name out because that is fantastic.
No, he's all about it. So yeah,
Far out.
That's the one. Fart out. Yeah.
Can I ask, because I know you quite well and I've been personally privy to, I would say, a good number of your farts over the years. Now, can you rank it on a scale of 1 to 10?
I feel like rank works on a few levels there.
Yeah, like you've done some whoppers.
Again, anyone that doesn't enjoy Brown Talk, and yeah, this episode's not for you.
We've already lost them.
Yeah,
We lost them when we were trying to decide if it was 2 chairs stacked one way.
Yeah.
Or a ladder in there
They're,
somewhere.
they're already gone. So can you describe, I just so, really put me in the
Yeah.
picture. I just want to know what this poor guy had to endure.
It's underwhelming because A, it was outdoors, B, it was a complete accident. I didn't even know there was one there. So I think because if I'd known there was one there, I definitely would have already known, like, how you just know the texture and everything's going to be about it.
Texture is an upsetting way of describing that, I'll be honest with you. But yes.
So like when it was like 3, 2, 1, it was the effort must have forced it from quite far up. Because it was just like a It's almost like it came out going, sorry. And then it left it.
That's disappointing.
That kind of stuff happens all the time as well, though. So, like, Paul, you're from an acrobatics background as well. I'm from a stunt background. And Claire, you're a pole dancing background as well. You ever letting any of them fly out whilst you're doing mad twists?
I have quite good control over my sphincter, unlike at the present company. I don't know.
That was a sound effect from
that
Paul.
Was Paul. That was
Thank
not the
you for
sound
that,
pad.
Paul.
That was straight from Paul's.
Anyway,
annals.
back to the actual podcast.
No, I can't say that I have experienced any unruly toots pole dancing, but it has its own perils, you know, because the whole concept of pole is that you have to wear very minimal clothing so you can grip to the stainless steel pole.
Yeah, because you just need skin on pole, right?
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know how I feel about saying that.
As in to grip, because if you're wearing something.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
it's
right.
flip.
So you tend to wear very minimal clothing, very teeny tiny clothing. And a lot of the moves require splits in the air, and I do spin pole. So for those of you that don't know, there's two different types of pole. One is a static one, and so when you see people doing spins on the static one, they're actually rotating their own body around the pole. There is a function.
The pole isn't spinning.
The pole spins.
pole sits static.
So
Oh, yeah,
you
yeah,
tend
yeah.
to get a bit more of a spin up. So there's a lot of momentum involved, and occasionally with the momentum and legs flying everywhere, look, things can pop out. Not
What does-
gas,
You mean like a bit of stray flap?
as in like flap.
Yeah.
Oh.
Or, well, yeah, that's the only thing that can pop out.
Flap or the other flap, really,
Yeah.
to be honest with you.
Well, you
Yeah.
got four to choose from, haven't you? Two Majora, two Minora,
You
right?
want to get scientific?
Yeah.
Paul's an amateur biologist as well.
I'd say more of a enthusiast.
Yes.
Amateur gynecologist is what I meant to say, sorry.
Yes.
Again, enthusiast.
Yeah.
Yes.
Enthusiast.
But sadly, no toots. Not yet. There's still
I like
time.
how it's sadly as well.
Well, you got to have goals, you know.
You do. You can work towards it.
Yeah.
Well, one fairly fresh in the career, I feel like. You
One
get
of the
something
girls
there.
I work, one of the women I work with, sorry, was about to say guys. She says that when she hasn't been on the trapeze for a long time,
Yeah.
she does trapeze. She queefs way more.
Wow.
Yeah, she's always just queefing.
So two things.
Yeah.
Would you quickly want to explain what a trapeze is, and then for our 80 plus viewers, listeners, would you like to explain what a queef is?
Yes, a trapeze. I think there's different types. This particular one is dance trapeze. So it's a solid bar covered in like grippy tape with a rope either end. So the bar's about, what's that? A
About a
meter.
foot,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, 2 meters.
A meter, not a foot. Yeah.
Two ropes either end that attach to one point, which is then attached to a rigging point, and it spins.
Off the roof.
Yeah, so it's not like that classic swinging trapeze. And a queef is a quick I'll defer to the vagina owner.
I thought
Wow.
you were the biologist.
Yeah, enthusiast.
It's basically
it's fanny fart, isn't it?
it's a front bum toot.
Yeah, there we go. Claire has a vocabulary for a 12-year-old as well, with all these toots.
And look, when you think biologically,
Yeah.
this is purely scientific. This is not even speculation, right?
So Claire's an actual biologist.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
That was the joke, Claire.
Oh.
It's okay. So Claire's not the comedian of the group as well, but yeah.
Come on, guys.
No, I'm joking. Please explain what queefs are on a
No,
purely
I'm
scientific
explaining
level.
to you who likely may not have even seen one. A vagina.
Because they're invisible. Yeah, there you go. She was trying to get me. A bit of fucking gotcha journalism right there.
A vagina basically has a hole, you know, so air can get
Okay, I'm
in.
fucking lost at this point, I'll be honest with you.
And sometimes the air can be pushed around, the air can be pushed out the front.
Air goes in, air comes out. I've got it. Fucking science for you people
You
right
got
there.
it.
Yeah.
Proud of
So
you.
it has to go in before it comes out.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because it kind of gets pushed in.
Yeah, because it's not
But,
coming from...
By who?
the trapeze,
Oh.
apparently.
Yeah, right.
No, but I have heard that some women are just more queefy than others. I
That
am
makes
personally
sense.
not a queefer.
Claire did
like a
ask us to
political
clarify this
persuasion.
before as well.
Edit that out. But apparently, like I have seen TikToks. Can I say TikTok?
Yes, you can see TikTok. I don't think they're going to come after us, and especially if they're on TikTok as well.
I have seen TikToks of girls who can push out a queef voluntarily at any time.
And if anyone wants to see those TikToks, simply DM Claire. She'll be more than happy to share them with you.
No, I've seen them in passing and moved on, utterly horrified.
What was that saved folder you had in your phone before?
Yeah. That's a quick scroll.
Yeah, it was actually quite a full folder, I'll be honest with you. We are children. So back to this cabaret restaurant. Do we have any stories from that? So I know, Claire, you were the manager, the person that kept it together until it literally fell apart. Did you have any little behind the scenes salacious memories from there?
Look, my official title was venue manager. However, oftentimes I was called upon to do things that were not necessarily in my job description.
So I would like to butt in here as well, because Paul and I were actually discussing this beforehand. Was any of those times donning a hazmat suit and then scrubbing the walls of human fecal matter?
More times than I would like to admit to.
This place was a theatre.
A theatre.
I know.
Theatre, and no
What
one in
would
the theatre.
Billy Shakespeare be saying if you could
Probably
see
pooping.
a poor young woman scrubbing the walls of human shit?
Of human feces.
But what I said to him was, by him, I'm
Shakespeare.
sorry, I'm pointing at Seb, not
Oh, no,
Shakespeare.
sorry.
Is there was one
modern
time
day
Shakespeare's just stepped out for a minute.
he stepped out to have a shit.
Yeah.
That you and someone else had to. It was up the wall.
So it was as if the person had taken a couple of steps into the actual bathroom.
Yes.
And then
oh my
dropped
God.
trowel and then just let loose. Not waited until they were even in the proximity
Oh my God,
of
were
the
they not
of
even
the
in the
porcelain.
cubicle?
No, it was just everywhere. And I think
Can I get a consistency? What are we talking?
Paint us a
Paul
What
paint
you
you a
asked me
picture.
about?
Yeah.
Jackson Pollock.
Oh, fecal Jackson Pollock. There
A
you
fecal
go.
Jackson Pollock. And I now essentially I do, if you want to describe it crudely, I essentially do pick up feces for a living. I look after
Yep. So you
animals.
can DM Claire. That is actually her job, and you have to pay her very well to do it, but she will do it for you.
Not my official title, but essentially I'm a glorified poo picker-upper of animals, though. Delightful
Yeah.
animals. They don't know any better. They're not potty trained.
They're not drinking 12
And-
different Jim Beams and Cokes.
That's right.
$52
bucks a
their
jug.
Amos.
And there is nothing that I have seen in my current line of work that has even touched the sides of what I saw
I don't think I've touched
evacuated
the sides
from
either by the sounds of
humans.
things.
Apparently, this person either didn't touch the sides.
Literally a joke I just said, except Claire decides to laugh at it from Paul.
I said that's funny because I heard you talking, Seb, but it was on a really low frequency. So I just heard you, Claire talking, and then I heard you going, "Oh, you little."
To be honest,
It's like you're cursing me in Scottish.
I just
So
worked
again,
it out.
any Scottish listeners, I do have to apologise. Paul does love to do his Scottish accent as well.
No, I like to do yours. Yeah.
So, a trigger warning for that coming
Like
up. I
being
presume.
friends with a witch from Macbeth. That's what it's like.
So yeah, look, that wasn't in my job description, and a lot of people ask me, why did you do it? And it's because I didn't want to subject my darling employees, such as yourselves, to such horror because
I
I'm
also
very gracious.
Don't think Claire would have trusted us because we would have just gone in there and presumably added to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we
I
we
see it as a
salute you for
challenge.
that. Thank you, Claire.
Well,
we do
I will
genuinely appreciate that.
Shall never. I appreciate that. Thank you. I shall never again touch human feces.
DM her, see how much money you've got. Everyone's got a price. You can look Claire up after this episode, see if that's something they're into.
I'm glad you ended that with you would never subject one of your employees to that because the story I have is directly related to that.
Oh, dear.
This
It's
is a
not
perfect
from
segue.
Cabaret Place. It's from when I worked at a fitness place.
Worked at a what, sorry?
A fitness place.
Oh, you
I thought you said fictionist.
I know.
I
me
was
too.
saying fitness place.
Fitness. You worked at a gym. Paul worked at a gym.
A gym, but
Yeah.
it was specific. There was only classes. The classes are 3/4 of an hour long, and
Okay,
yeah,
so
I'll
you would
just leave
say
it.
if you got 3/4 of 60.
Yeah.
So that's 45. I'm really good at math.
Well, in minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about
In
that.
minutes,
We're trying to
yeah,
dance around that. But
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, well, you could dancing. Yeah. Anyway, so there was people come in, just before their class, and they wait, and they can go to the toilet if they want because they're adults, they're allowed to do that. And
If you say so.
there was after one class, one class that I heard a story from our manager, and I was like, this can't be right. Apparently, there was a display in the bathroom, like you're saying.
What
Like,
does a display mean?
like they'd sat down, they'd been like, nah, I got a better idea. Then come off it, and it was
What
just
is wrong with people like this?
painted, but like not just painted. Have you seen? I saw on Instagram recently, like if your concrete's sinking, you can drill into it, plug it in, and then put this foam in it that like expands and lifts it up. So it was so many different textures that there was like solid bits, but also so liquid that it got into the threading of the screws. They had to unscrew the seat to clean it. I was like, that's rank. The next day I was on shift, and I remember going in and being like, oh my God, this must be this person. It was just covered. And I went to my manager. A fresh one the next day.
2 days in a row.
Yep.
That's
Said to my manager,
very
I was
unwell
like,
person.
I was like, I'm unwell, or we were like, this is just someone who's trying a new pre-workout or a new protein, and they're instead of destroying their own toilet, they're like, fuck it, I'll go to class 10 minutes early.
Though.
Yeah,
Sit down.
or it's so forceful that it's coming back up.
But that can't be. That has to be painful or something.
Yeah.
Like,
Don't do a workout if that's what's happening.
Yeah. But I said to my manager, I was like, I'm sorry, but you know how people pull rank? I was like, I'm going to have to pull under rank and just give it to you. But it kept happening to the point where they were like, every time that someone would come in before class, they'd be like, right, that person's come in, where are they going to it? And they worked out who it was.
Oh my God, did they?
They did name and shame.
Yeah. Give them their, come on, drop their Instagram handle. Who was it?
I think it was something like, I remember it being quite alliterative. Is that a word? Like, as in, their name worked well with the word shitty. So it'd be like, shitty. So like, if it was like shitty Seb or stinky Seb or
Shitty by name, shitty by nature.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Floppy South End Seb or something. Yeah.
They're all my drag names.
But yeah.
But I had something similar at a gym that I used to go to. I know this isn't arts and entertainment based, but I'll quickly get off this tangent.
These kind of stories are entertaining.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know about this one. One gym I used to go to when I used to live up in Canberra. Very fun little place. But the gym I went to, it had showers and they were all cubicles, but instead of doors, they had curtains. But somebody used to continually steal the shower curtains. Yeah. And then the gym put up a sign. It's like, we're not going to replace the shower curtains until whoever stops stealing them stops stealing them. And I was like, I think that might be his point. So he can just watch loads of dudes in the shower.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sorry, what's the address of this gym?
This gym. Claire's actually got a room full of shower curtains as well, which is a little... And we did see her toilet before. And let me just say, I'm going to have to leave.
This is bordering on defamation at this point.
Oh, I was like, oh, yeah.
Defamation, not
I'm sorry. We can
defecation.
move on. You were also mean to me at the start of the podcast. I'm just trying to get a little bit back now.
Right.
I told you at the start of all of this, before we started recording, that you're actually doing a really good job.
She never said that at all. She's a fucking liar. If it's not recorded, it didn't happen.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. Speaking of not recorded,
Take a
didn't
podcast,
happen.
it'll last longer.
Paul, can you tell us of your awkward erection stories, please?
Yes, good. So these, I actually have three so I used to do life modeling.
And anyone that doesn't know what life modeling is essentially you stand naked and lots of 50-year-old people draw you.
Yes. Hopefully they're all, it depends where you are. Some of them you just, good description, well done, talked well. Some of them you just stand there. Like, I've never done this one, but like, I think you strike a pose and then you're there for like a long time.
Yeah. So there's different time periods. And I think that depends on your pose. Like, I know some people have done 2 hours, but you're literally just lying down.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's like a 5-minute power pose or...
Yeah. I think as well, it depends on what the class is advertised as. So like a 2-hour one, it might be basically people who want to get a really like, whatever their style, they know their style, and they just want to do a really not good.
It's
but
probably it's probably more lifelike, right? Because they
yeah, like
You
really,
get a
yeah.
full picture rather than
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
practice a lot of time for people drawing the human form
Yeah.
or just old perverts that want to go
Like
and
I-
see some naked people.
What?
One of the
Yeah,
two.
and just pay $10 for it.
Yeah, right.
I did one in South Melbourne where they there was different segments. So like one might be like you had to look for 30 seconds, then close your eyes and then draw,
Oh.
or like swap hands, or like you couldn't take the pencil off the paper or something like that.
It's like some weird like game show.
Yeah. Like that's the kind of class you'd go and you'd be like, oh, can I do a walk around look and be like that? It didn't even look like a person. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
okay.
I think it was just cathartic. But this one,
Again, old perverts.
yeah, yeah, it's like why is it? It's just scribbling in the same way, and then there's a bit of white paint up the top. Yeah, cool, nice.
Yeah, white paint on white paper. Interesting art choice.
Mental. It's mental. So I did it in Byron Bay. So I worked on a farm.
What?
So for anyone who doesn't know, if you are no, anyone, I think. Is it anyone doing a working holiday has to do farm work?
Anyone that's outside of Australia that's come here on a working holiday visa, to extend your holiday visa, working holiday visa by a
I forgot
year,
about that.
you have to work, or I don't think you do anymore, but you used to have to work for 3 months in a regional job, which for most people was in farm work essentially. So you go and pick
Yes.
apples or pick watermelons or get abused by a farmer and not get it signed off regardless.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
And it had to be the 3 months within your first year. So it was kind of like 3 months off your
That's
first
right.
year.
I
yeah.
forgot that was a thing.
Yeah. And it was only certain postcodes, not really regulated, so you didn't have to be paid.
No.
And it doesn't really happen anymore because during lockdown or like during COVID in general, obviously when the borders were locked, no one was coming over. So then there was a shortage of backpacker
labor. Yeah.
And they realized, and so then no Australians were doing it.
Yep.
So they realized how much of a shit system it was because like, well, obviously if no Australians are going to do it because it's so shit. Yeah, and then they were a bit fucked with all the fruit picking and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, you were living up in Byron Bay. For
Yes.
anyone outside of Australia as well, is the strangest place. It's like mad hippies who are, I don't know how, but ungodly rich as well.
Yeah, lots of like white people with dreadlocks.
Yeah.
Don't go there.
Nah,
My
yeah.
top tip is don't go there.
Yeah. I
Near
mean, I'll
Nimbin,
be honest
though.
with you, Claire, that's pretty bang on a bit.
Yeah. It's like where people go to backpack, but actually
Glam.
it's very, it's commercial, yeah. But I did some life modeling there because it was, it's cash in hand.
Yep.
And I remember like sitting there or staying there, whatever, naked, obviously.
Obviously.
And someone walked in late and it was a younger female, as in like not 60, like, well, I think I was
Not
like,
a 60-year-old pervert.
yeah, woo, yeah,
A
winning.
30-year-old pervert.
Yeah, that's the good stuff. I was like 24 or something at the time, so she must have been around 26 as well. And thinking, oh, she's actually very attractive. And I was like, I shouldn't think she's making eyes at me, and definitely was. And I started to get a boner.
Oh.
Yeah.
So as a
A
man,
boner. Do I have to describe this because I'm pointing to it? But
Yeah.
again, we're on a podcast.
it's weird that you have one, I'll be honest with you just now.
I know, we can all see it.
Because we're
I
all
can't.
naked. That's you can't not see it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, as a man with a penis, how do you hide an erection when there is nowhere to hide it?
You don't. Your mind goes to a dark. It's like the dark web of your mind. You go, what is gonna make this go down? And
Well,
sometimes
I
you
think
hit
of
something.
orphans, and I think of like nuns on fire, and just anything to get it down.
Did it upset the people that were there to really get a picture? Like, was there a lot of frustrated
Claire.
tearing off of the top sheet of paper and going, oh, start again?
They're all 60-year-old perverts. They were very happy to see
No,
it.
because I'd be like, well, his penis has moved, so it's time. It ruined the picture.
You just go up and slap it, and you're like, no, that's not what I was drawing.
Like in the In-Betweeners, when he goes, "Why won't you work, you ugly cunt?"
That's a terrible show.
What?
Okay,
We're
we'll
not
discuss that
getting
later.
into the breakdown of the in-betweeners.
Discuss that
Terrible
later.
shape.
So did you go full sail?
No, not full sail. It was just that kind of thing where
Half mast.
not even, but it definitely
Quarter
was
mast.
engorged. You know what I mean? Like where it's like it's asleep. Like sort of like when you see like a tortoise sort of like extend its neck. Yeah,
I
sort of
am
like,
familiar with tortoises.
yeah. See, I'm talking to you on your language, on your level.
Thank you.
Yes. And where you're like, oh, it's sort of, and you're like, oh no, I'm feeling a bit more of a pulse and some heat, and you're
Yeah.
like, for fuck's sake, and like, I got to catch this early. I like nip it in the bud. But then you're like, oh, I'm thinking about bud now. Oh, bud. Yeah, and then you're like trying to dart in your eyes. Awful. But
Yeah.
it definitely started to go. And I'm trying to describe how I'm doing this.
He did a very limp wrist movement where his
Starts to go
hand
up,
slowly lifted.
Yeah.
We get it. I think we're all adult listeners.
I think everyone-
I'm sure we've all seen a boner.
It was like how it feels though trying to not do one. Not do one.
Yeah.
Don't do a boner.
There we go. There's a
All right,
Scottish
Steph,
accent.
calm down.
Aforementioned Scottish accent.
But the best bit about this story though is afterwards I was like, I'm so embarrassed. I was talking to this person afterwards. She asked me out and we went on a date.
What? This
Absolutely
person?
true
the
story.
quartermast got her.
Yeah, she was like, "Oh, grower, great, yeah, nice." Yeah,
Maybe if you hadn't got engorged, you would have been like, I'd
Yeah.
probably just leave this one.
like bloody hell, yeah.
Well, I really
You got any engorged stories,
I know
Claire?
I don't want to admit this, but I've seen your penis.
From where?
From, like, are you joking?
Oh yeah, I used to get naked. A lot,
I've seen both of yours.
Yeah, I know.
I paid to see sex.
That's it. You were
It was in a Guys,
I
it
will
was in a
give out my
play.
PayPal as well for anyone else that wants to see it. I'm struggling for work just now.
He was in a play. Paul and I went to the play.
No, I didn't
Paul
remember.
didn't
I
go
couldn't
to the
go
play.
to that one.
No.
Oh, you saw the other one though, where we saw his bum cheek.
I've seen one where
So
he's
mentally,
like,
Claire can piece together my entire disgusting
Oh,
body.
that's right. I went with our other friend
Yes.
who also used to work at the aforementioned place.
because you've
Yes.
been in another one where you were muff diving, and then another one where you were jacking off on a couch.
No, we saw the muff diving one. Why did I say
Yeah.
muff diving? That's
I know. It's the worst.
Oh, yeah.
I do apologize to everyone. Paul is English.
That is so terrible. Why did I say that? Just because you said it.
Because
anyway,
you love the
Easily
in-betweeners.
influenced.
so yeah, maybe a little bit of engorging really worked in your favour,
Yeah.
sweetheart.
I actually told this story on the previous episode of the podcast for people that actually listen to the podcast. Thank you very much.
Oh, about
Thank you,
your-
guest.
Sorry?
About Claire coming to see this play, and then afterwards seeing Claire in the foyer, and she's like, "I saw your penis." Nah.
Said.
And I was like,
remember
"Oh
that.
no, it's because I'm on stage and it's scared, and
That's
it's like sportsman's willy. It's not
Yeah.
that bad."
Yeah, which I didn't know about. Anyway,
Yeah.
let's
That's
move on.
actually really funny because we talk a lot about how if you go and see a show
Yep.
that you don't like, you go, "Oh, do you stick around and lie, or do you leave straight away?"
Yeah.
Or do you be honest? And most people would stick around and be like, "Hey," they'll either lie and be like, "Oh, it's
Oh, for
great,"
sure.
or they'll skirt like the classic is, "Hey, congratulations on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
must have worked really hard."
Yeah.
Oh,
But
yeah,
you've
you-
just
you-
gone straight out there and been like, "Your dick, yeah."
Yeah.
That is not at all how I recall that. In fact, I don't recall saying that
If
at
you-
all.
if
Maybe
you
you're
would-
projecting, Seb.
Requaint us with what you said then.
I don't
I would
remember.
happily clear this up.
I don't remember. I don't think I would have even mentioned it.
Oh, that is not. For anyone that doesn't know Claire as well, that's a fucking bold-faced lie right there. DM her and she can tell you what she thinks
To
of
be
it.
fair, there were a lot of willies in that
There was
play.
quite a lot of
It
willies
was
in that
basically
play.
a play about willies.
It was. It was a midsummer play.
Yeah.
For anyone that doesn't know as well, down in Melbourne, the LGBTQIA plus festival every year, midsummer. And so there's a lot of dudes and a lot of dicks.
I mean, I went with our gay friend
Yes.
and he very much enjoyed it. I was on the fence.
Claire doesn't enjoy penis that much, no.
I mean,
She's particular. Oh, that was good. Did you know that's the sound it's
should
going
I
to
be
make?
the podcaster?
Oh my, no, you
Yeah,
can't. You're not
I
a cis
feel like-
white
That's
man.
horny jazz.
How'd you?
Because he said it before.
Ah, you were listening.
Yes, that's the one thing I listened
I
to.
have really lost control of this episode. I do not know. I'm going to have to just fully
This
can
one's
this.
applause, rapturous applause.
Okay, we're going to stop pressing all these buttons just now because it's not a pleasant listening experience. I need to take back control. I'm getting back online. I was actually going to tell a story off the back of Paul's story with that as well, unless you have any other erection-based stories that you'd like to tell us.
Is yours also about a penis?
I'm sorry, yes. But you can go and sit in your bedroom until we're done if you want.
That's even worse.
The bathroom, Claire's not got that many rooms here. It's not really a mansion.
Nice place,
I lied.
man. Nice
Beautiful, yeah.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you very much.
Oh, bloody. The only thing
that's
that
exactly how you react.
Next.
I don't have another erection one, but it's just
But
related
I'm
to
gonna
that.
I'm gonna jump in
Oh, yeah.
on the back of that story that you told. So a few years back, I don't actually know if you've seen this as well, Claire. And for any of our adoring listeners who I'm sure have all turned off by now, I did this cookbook. And yes, I know.
Yes, I have seen the cookbook.
Yes, yes.
The cookbook.
I know I say cookbook funny. I'm foreign.
He's
My
saying-
sincerest fucking apologies.
He's saying
I'm sorry,
cookbook.
I'm foreign.
I
Cookbook.
it's a.
Yeah.
Have you said to listeners what it is before?
No, so it's called Food Porn by
yeah.
an ex MasterChef contestant, cook, and it is essentially just super horny pictures paired with actual recipes.
Oh, the recipes are real.
Yeah, the recipes are real. It's a real book.
Do you remember
that's
any
great.
names of the recipes?
Oh, there was like
Because
one-
I do, because I read it earlier while you were having
Oh,
a
did
nap.
you actually?
I was
yourself.
please. So, for context, I'm staying at Seb's at the moment, and I was sitting in his spare room / office.
And Seb has 18 copies littered
And
around the house.
I'm looking
It's
around.
actually my guest gift. Whenever someone stays with me, I just give them a copy of it. You can genuinely find this on Amazon just now if any of the listeners want to go out and buy it.
They're not going to.
and next, there's like a bookshelf next to it, and there's like 3 acting books and then food porn.
Yeah.
And I had
You'll
to flip
guess
through.
which one of the fucking books I've actually read.
Some of the photos are raunchy.
Yeah, right,
Really
raunchy, aren't
There's
they?
like fingering an orange. It's dripping. Like I was
dude.
like,
There's
photographically
a
amazing.
baguette in place of a willy.
Yes.
Yep.
Someone's eating it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
There's zoodles on a couple of crotches,
yes.
covering up the whatever between his whatever is between a female's legs.
Seb just gestured quite upsettingly.
This is all slander. I swear to God.
But one of the recipes was called hand job.
Was it actually?
Yeah, and it was
I
just
don't know if I ever read any of the recipe names.
the picture was someone holding a butternut squash.
Oh
Yeah.
no!
Like some of them were like quite funny, like in terms of pun.
Yeah.
But the other ones were just like, oh. One of them though, like food safety wise, there was a woman holding 2 raw chicken breasts to her breast.
Oh my God!
And the recipe was called a couple of juicy breasts. So obviously a chick. But I was
Yeah.
like, is that okay? Scientist pointing to Claire.
Yes,
Can
Claire.
you get
Yes, go on.
salmonella through your nips?
No.
No, through your skin. No.
That's a ridiculous question.
Paul's also he's a performer. He's not a scientist. So
You can get yeah. Okay.
You can get-
anyway,
we'll move on.
Question
quite
done.
quickly from this before.
Please
Paul
continue
digs
with your
himself
question.
into war.
With your-
No, and I actually think it's quite clever.
The-
Holding a couple of chicken titties to your titties.
I thought you meant it's clever that the skin doesn't allow salmonella in. But yeah.
That's also quite clever as well.
Well, you know, your skin is your largest organ in the body.
Speak
and
for yourself,
it's
mate. Mine's my brain. I've broken these two, so I'm going to tell the rest of the story now.
God.
Wait.
We're laughing because it's so not true.
I'm going to edit that part of the podcast.
You said no editing, you bitch.
Fuck. I'm too lazy. Shit. So in one of the photos, I'm lying in bed with this lady. And I think it's called Breakfast in Bed, actually, maybe. You read the whole thing page to page, which I can't unstick the pages now for some reason. But do you know if
You
that's
must have
what
been
it's
cooking
called?
with it.
Yeah.
Your one, no, I can't remember.
Oh, okay. So I think it was called Breakfast in Bed, and it's like a breakfast recipe or something like that.
Really? Breakfast in bed is a breakfast recipe?
I'm editing this whole fucking podcast out. And the lady was lying on me and started rubbing her leg against my nether regions. And I was like, oh no.
Oh no.
We were under the
And your
covers.
penis is like, oh yes.
Yeah. And we were under the covers, and I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, it doesn't matter. I'm wearing underwear. No one's going to see it. And I'm like, all right, guys, thanks. We're done. If you just want to go and wait into the other room. And I was like, I'm going to have to walk out here in my underwear with.
Can I get an ice pack?
And it was more than a slight chub.
It wasn't half. Was it full sale?
I say 3/4.
Oh yeah. There's no coming back from that.
No.
There is coming from that though.
Yeah. No, I'll try not to. Bloody professional, mate. And then I was walking out of the room, and the photographer was trying to talk to me, and I was doing that. And every single person with a penis that has gone through puberty knows this thing. When you stand up and you try and awkwardly stick your butt out behind you, and I'm going to do this for the two here, and you're just standing talking to them like this, where you're like halfway through the chicken dance and trying to hide an erection.
Seb, just for the listeners, is doing what we envision those people that have painted the toilets assumed that exact.
That's the
position.
exact squatting position that they have.
Yeah.
And then I was trying to have a conversation with them, and I was like, oh God, this is a pretty low point right here. And I didn't remember that until Paul brought up one of his stories today. So there we go.
Blocked it
There's
out.
always more stories. Yeah.
I have a couple of questions on the book as well.
Yes.
Because I was flicking through it. I was like, oh, fine, Seb. But you're not in it for a while. You're only in a couple. But there's a couple.
I'm in
of
3.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
couple people in a lot of it. Also, you're not credited.
Oh, so I asked, this was back when I thought I was going to be a world famous actor, and now I've been like,
you asked
I'll be
me
lucky if I get a fucking bit part in anything. So I asked not to be credited.
Because it said thank you to the models, including.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah.
Oh, you
Yeah.
asked not to be credited because you
I
thought that
asked,
they would
I thought it'd
unearth
come
the
back.
skeletons in the closet.
I thought Entertainment Tonight or TMZ would be like, well, we found here.
But you haven't quite made it as an actor.
See, this is the same thing. The same tone Claire said, like, she's like, saw your penis.
I'm really sorry. Sorry, I'll apologize because I don't remember saying
This is
it.
the only reason I'm doing this podcast.
don't
I want an
remember seeing
official
it.
apology from you right now. And to Paul. You shamed
Why?
him about
For what?
his as well.
But my pee.
Nah.
Nah,
That's
pretty
right.
bang
I've
on,
seen it
yeah.
too.
One more
For
penis
me.
thing about the book, though.
Yep.
There's a guy in a towel with an erection. Is that
Yeah.
real?
I don't know. I didn't ask.
Yeah, okay.
And this is all consensual, and like it was a very safe shoot as well. I don't want to like be upfront about that. Obviously, like it wasn't anything weird.
Like, it's a cool book. Like, the
It is a
recipes
good
are actually
book.
good. And
Yeah.
It's a great
photos are-
concept
Yeah.
for perverts.
60-year-old pervert. So any of the people that were drawing Paul up in Byron Bay, get on that.
Yeah.
I think I'll just stick to my Jamie Oliver cookbooks. And
The Naked Chef, you mean?
Cleaning up other
What?
people's poop.
oh, come off it.
Well, yeah, that's what.
Moving on. I still like that apology though. At the end of the podcast,
I told you, you've got it in recording.
Oh yeah, she just did it.
Everything you say is so insincere, Claire.
Fucking hell.
Can't wait to be back on this
I'm
podcast.
sorry. Don't worry. This episode's not getting released. No, I'm joking. I am. This is a bit more of a relaxed, fun one for everyone as well. And I do apologise for myself. But Claire, you were mentioning from your mad 6 days as a DJ, you had a wee story.
Oh, yes. No, sorry. DJ is a bit of a misnomer. You shouldn't refer to me as a DJ.
And we'll pause the
only
story
use the
right
word
here.
gorgeous.
Paul, what does misnomer mean?
Misnomer. It sounds like it's related to either melanoma or misdemeanor.
The wife of
The scientist
Mr.
has
Nomer.
stepped in.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, no, she's a miss. Anyway.
well, that's
so I like a challenge. And I also
Yes, you're friends with us.
yes, you are both very challenged. So I enjoy the challenge, and I also can't look, to be honest, and I really apologize to any DJs out there in the world. I really thought, and this is what I've been saying for about 15 years, you just plug a USB in and press play.
That's
Turns
for the most
out
part what it seems like.
no, that's what I thought. So a
I
friend
still
of
don't know if I believe that.
a friend of a friend asked me randomly one day, "Hey, do you know how to DJ?" And I said, "Yeah." Literally, my word for word, I said, "Oh yeah, I could give it a crack."
What year was it? What
This
year
was
and when?
like 3 months ago.
Oh, what?
What? I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
this was very, very recently. So I said, "Yeah, I'll give it a crack." Agreed to
Yep.
DJ on Chapel Street, which is a very heavily populated, highly, like a very long road of late night venues, very popular
We've
with the
spoken about
youths.
Chapel Street on this podcast before
Yeah.
as well. I must say, not often good things.
Can you say
No,
the venue?
terrible. No, I won't say the venue because
Okay.
they're actually a really nice venue and they were very good to me. They were very gracious. But anyway, so they booked me.
Vibe club. Is it the club? Bar?
Yeah. So it was sort of a pub that turned into a club.
Oh,
So
okay.
that sort of vibe. So they booked me for pretty much.
So they just asked you, like, passing question and then booked you?
I think they thought that I could. I don't know what gave them the impression that maybe I could.
You knew these people?
Yeah, a friend of a friend.
Okay.
Yeah. So they booked me for quite a prolific time spot. Like it was sort of the peak time. It was when the pub was turning into a club, and they booked me for a 3 hour spot.
You're like, my USB is only 5 gig. I want
So-
need to get down to Office Works.
So I started frantically. I at some point realized that this was actually quite a task. I realized that you don't just have music; you have to buy music. So I
No,
basically
you just go on Spotify.
No,
Epic
you
DJ club mix.
can't. No, I tried that. I actually I googled big
Mega
YouTube
mixes,
mixes. They were
Yeah, long ones.
just terrible.
I don't want to pay for YouTube Red, though. I'm going to get ads throughout this.
Terrible. Anyway, so long story short, I ended up sort of asking a few friends they're actually working DJs, and I had many panicked questions. I downloaded some program onto my computer.
Do you know what it was?
Record Box, which is apparently for all the DJs out there, that it's record with a K, REKORDBOX. And
All right, Record Box, if you want to sponsor this podcast, give us a shout.
and I basically taught myself in a couple of hours how to do it. And then I showed up to this venue and I plugged in my USB, and I had bought a pair of headphones, and when I realized they didn't plug in to the system, so I didn't have any headphones. So the idea of DJing is you're supposed to be controlling 2 songs at once.
Yeah.
You're supposed to know the songs inside out. You're supposed to be, as one song is wrapping up, you're slowly mixing in the next one. I didn't really know what to do. However, DJing is such a kick. So the venue were lovely to me. Every time I turned around, there was a tequila shot for me.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
And
That seems like it wouldn't help.
I
I'll be
had
honest.
people flocking to the DJ booth, and people were saying, "You're really great set. Thank you so much." And I was on cloud 9. Anyway, they didn't ask me back.
no.
So I feel like this is a podcast for awkward, embarrassing stories. I feel like Claire's just taught herself how to DJ in 2 hours and just said how great she is. Have I
No,
mistaken
no,
this?
it was terrible. No, it was terrible.
Yeah.
I couldn't. So in the
Talk
DJ
about
booth,
sphincter clenching. I would
Well,
not
there's
been able to relax the entire time.
my expectation of what it was going to be was nothing like that. I was hoping that there would be a speaker in the DJ booth so I
Yeah.
could at least hear what was happening out on the floor.
Could you
There
not hear
wasn't.
anything?
I couldn't really. I could just
Fold
hear what
back.
was coming through the. Yeah, there was no fold back. I
Yeah.
couldn't hear anything that was coming. I could just hear what I could kind of hear coming over the DJ
Wow.
booth. So I just had to wing it. I was very stressed
Yeah.
because every 3 minutes you have to on the fly. I was loading songs that I had never heard before.
Oh my God.
And I was just pressing play and hoping for the best. And
Does the program automatically time match them and stuff? Like,
no, you have to do that.
What?
through the
Yeah.
headphones, but which you didn't have.
you have to do all. It's actually I hate to say this. It's actually work.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
It's actually a lot of work. And look, I wanted to do it just to say that I DJ'd on Chapel Street,
And what you have?
which I have now.
Apparently, it's not that hard to book a gig on Chapel Street as well. by the sounds of
Look,
things.
I've ticked that box and I've done it, and never again, never ever
Never again on Chapel Street. But if you want to reach out to Claire after this, she'll DJ your bar mitzvah,
House
she'll
party,
DJ your
weddings.
funeral,
Yeah.
weddings,
Funeral.
Just make sure you got
Yeah.
fold back.
yeah, or buy her a pair of headphones.
Yeah, with the right jack.
Yeah,
So the lesson in it is don't.
say yes to everything.
Yes, the lesson is say yes to everything unless it's things you've literally never done before.
But that turned out remarkably well. I feel like.
Well, did it?
I have another question on this. So it was 3 months ago, which means, did you have to look after animals that morning or the next morning, and were you absolutely fucked as a result of staying up till God knows when?
I think I actually did work the day of,
Wow.
but I think I had the next day off.
Okay.
That's quite a lovely question. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm just thinking of the animals.
But I thought you were thinking about me.
No.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful stuff. That's very nice. Well, we'll go back over to Paul now. Do you have any awkward DJing stories, Paul, for us?
No, but I got a microphone related one.
Oh,
that's a good
actually
segue,
handy.
isn't it?
Yeah, I definitely meant that.
Paul has, I actually feel a bit underprepared because Paul has a list of notes on his phone that he keeps referring to.
Yeah, they're not
all right.
anything to do with this podcast, but it's just things I got to do tomorrow.
It's mostly just stuff.
One of them says,
I'll
"Get
read one
an
of them. It
erection."
says, "Stop saying yes to Seb's podcast."
yeah.
Fair enough.
Finally. Yeah. So I did a outdoor Shakespeare play
Oh,
last
Billy.
year. Huh?
Billy.
No, it wasn't called Billy. It was called.
fuck me.
She didn't want to like it, but liked it. Nice.
Sorry.
12th Night. Might have heard of it.
Nah, I haven't seen the
No,
other
never
11.
heard of it.
Great. Awesome. Comedy, Shakespeare. Anyway, it was outdoor because
Because I could afford indoor. Oh, that was an unfortunate noise.
yes, I pushed the button. That was me. That was cool.
Good job.
So it was outdoor. So we had
Claire's. Good job.
yeah. Oh, that was much better. Fuck, yeah, okay.
Right, no more touching buttons.
Okay, cool. It was outdoors, which meant that was Seb.
That was me.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, sorry, it was outdoors.
So we had headset mics. So for anyone who doesn't know, a headset mic is like basically like a Britney Spears mic, or
Yep.
like when you think about
A call center mic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
because they go over the head.
Or a welcome to McDonald's. How may I take your order?
No, because they have one earphone.
Oh,
Yep.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
It's very similar to all of those
Whatever.
things, so-
You're wrong. it doesn't have an input, only an output. So it
Yep.
hooks around your ear. So, and then it has a wire and a little pack that you clip onto your belt or something.
Yep.
So during this play, there were some physical bits where I would either sit down, roll over, or something like that, which meant that 2 or 3 nights in a row, at one point during the play, my mic broke. I broke the mic because because the pack basically it's like a small. It looks like it's like the size of a cigarette pack or something.
Yep.
Clips to your belt, and then there's a connection where like you'd plug the headphone.
Oh,
in.
I know what you're talking about.
Yes.
We used to use them at the other place.
Yes.
Ah,
so
yes, yes,
nothing like a call center mic.
Yeah, you would have definitely used them a lot.
Oh, I had to change batteries
Oh, yeah, of
and
course.
everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, battery gun.
Yeah.
So, like, you know where it plugs in, that would snap off, or I'd rip it out the back.
Yep.
So then always get the sound technician just like running backstage. It wasn't actually backstage because it was
Outside.
Behind a
outside.
tree.
Yeah. It was actually, I think I could say this. It was in the Botanic Gardens in Adelaide. So like it was around the Palm House, if anyone knows that. So a long way to run.
No.
So no, because I'm from the Highlands of Wales.
That's getting edited out. Anyway, so it's behind the Palm House.
Yes. So he'd come and fix the mic and then back on. And there was one time, so we're deciding where to put it. We eventually worked out that the best place to put it was strapping it under my trousers to the inside of my right thigh. Yeah.
Oh.
Because that was there was no impact going there that I was intending.
Or on the left side.
Cock. Cool, yeah. Nice.
Claire, do you want to make that noise for me?
What noise?
The one
Your noise.
Your reaction to seeing underwhelming penises.
I keep forgetting that he told that story.
That's like the 4th time you forgot.
Fucking hell.
I just
Literally
don't
just
think.
happened.
I just don't think it's true. Carry on. Paul.
Okay,
Very rude, Seb.
What, his penis? No, you're right. So I'm just off stage with my pants around my ankles and the sound technician trying to plug it back in, and I just missed the cue for me to come on, because like my cue to come on was a line. I come in and I'm meant to interrupt the scene, and then we're just trying to fumble with it, the mic, and then we just hear, "He's always late." Sir Toby, we're like, fuck. I'm like, this is my cue. So we both panic. So I'm trying to pull my pants up. As I'm pulling my pants off, the sound technician panics and helps me out the door and sort of pushes me, and I go flying out the door, pants sort of round my ankles. Luckily, like the character in Twelfth Night is drunk. But yeah, just rolling over, pulling pants up. I think the mic still didn't work. So yeah. But it's one of those panic moments where you're like, oh, I know every line, all this. But as soon as there's a spanner in the works.
Oh, a slight curveball.
Yeah, then you're like, oh my God, how do we fix it?
Yeah.
And everyone on stage obviously doesn't know that I'm not there for an actual good reason.
Yeah.
But they're like, we can't carry on till he comes on.
And there's some points as well in live theatre as well, because we've all done it as well. So Claire, you would actually go on stage sometimes at this theatre restaurant.
I did.
Yeah.
Sometimes with, 2 hours notice.
Yeah. And I don't think this is rude to say, but Claire, you're not a classically trained performer.
That is so rude.
Please, you were way ruder to me earlier.
Also,
How dare you.
did you have to mime instruments and stuff?
So the worst thing I ever had to learn in very short notice was a full puppetry act, and I had to go out and do a rap.
I remember that.
So I had to memorize a rap, and
It wasn't like a voice track. You had to do it live.
No, I had to do it live.
Can you give us a few bars?
No, because I feel like it's owned by, I think it was the one and only. So a lot of the Paul's making.
I'm miming what I thought it was,
gesturing.
and I think I know what it is. Yeah.
And so a lot of the acts we would use, popular music at the time. But I think this one, I actually don't know that it was used in a number of different shows over the years, and I had to learn this rap. So I had to learn the whole staging, the puppetry. To be fair, they sort of just pushed me to the side for a lot of it, so I didn't have to do much.
Nice.
But I should mention that I was dressed with this ginormous white cushion wrapped around my head because I was supposed to be an ovum, like an egg. And essentially, I went out and I was fertilized. Anyway,
You're fertilized.
I was being fertilized, and the whole rap that I was doing is about how happy I was that
God,
I was
I
being
remember this
fertilized.
now.
Yeah, and so whoever I was understudying, and I'm doing
Quotation
marks in the air, understudying, pulled out very last minute, which happens. People get sick and they can't make it to work. That's fine. And it wasn't the sort of act where they could shuffle the other performers to cover it because they were doing quite a lot of the staging or their own.
Mostly everyone was in that act. I know we're dancing around this a lot as well, which doesn't make for the best listening, but it's essentially some adults themed stuff which was happening on stage.
Yeah, well, I said I was an egg that was being fertilized.
Yes.
That only happens if you're a grown up. Hopefully.
But that's very biological.
But and I remember I had to also run the theatre. I had to
at the same
run
time.
everything, and I was reciting this rap over and over and over in my head, and I had to run the theatre and then quickly go and get changed and then pop out on stage and do this whole thing and do the rap. And I was so worried about brain freeze. What happens if I got a couple of lines in? That would have been a better story. I should have lied and said I got brain freeze, but I remembered
I would have
it
asked
perfectly.
for some freestyle rap in that case, which I can still ask for in all fairness. So I think we can probably get a bit of beatboxing from Paul and Claire if you want to chuck down a couple of freestyle.
Absolutely
bars.
not.
No, okay. I can only make an
I
offer.
could have predicted that.
I'm not being paid to be here. If you were paying me, then potentially I would give you a little.
Potentially.
If anyone
Thanks.
wants to shoot me through some money on PayPal,
What you going to say if anyone wants to shoot me?
I would also welcome that, especially after tonight. No, I'm joking. But if anyone wants to shoot through some money to like the account for Won't Be Forgetting That podcast, we can try and get paid rap from Knives from Claire. I'm going to have to edit that name out, haven't I? I said the wrong name by accident.
Oh, that reminds me when you just said the name of your podcast, because I'd forgotten it.
Thank you.
But even though Knives is...
Okay, we're going to edit that name out again as well.
you just said it.
I know. I just said I'm going to have to edit
I
it
understand.
out.
So sorry.
Yeah, Claire. Sorry, it's a specific name from the theatre restaurant, which... Are you all right with us using that name or not?
Well, you're the last two remaining humans on the planet.
No, I said to you earlier that
use it.
everyone goes, that's... I'm like, yeah.
All right, you tell you what, I'm not going to edit that out then. If you're
No,
happy
don't
enough
edit
with
it.
Okay.
It's fine. I mean, it's the name of a very common utensil. It's not like it's a secret word that
It's the collective noun.
it's not like you're not speaking parcel tongue.
Yeah, I fucking wish.
God,
Can I say that? Is
fucking
that copyright?
Harry Potter nerds. You can, but you have to rap in parcel tongue as well,
I just said that.
unfortunately.
Well, that's easy. It's just.
Now you don't need a
sorry,
beatbox.
look that.
Now you don't need a beatbox. That's it.
I only said that because I just watched The Chamber of Secrets.
Oh, nice.
Very good.
I swear to God, I'm not turning into a fucking white man with a fucking Harry Potter podcast. We're moving swiftly on from this.
many of
Just a
them
white
are
man with a
there?
podcast.
1 million.
Can I have names of them on my desk by 5?
Mental.
This is quite a close deadline. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that.
What was the... What's this? How do we get... Oh, that's what I was saying.
Yes.
Yes. Won't be forgetting that. Even though your DJ, I'm pointing to Claire, the DJ story wasn't a failure, she won't be forgetting it.
There you go. See, and that's exactly why I named this podcast.
No,
for Claire.
it will honestly haunt me.
Yes.
Well, we are actually going to get a DJ set from Claire at the end as well. And then a freestyle rap over her DJing as well. So, yeah.
Oh, that's actually quite a niche. Maybe that can be my new title.
What?
Oh, a rapping DJ?
I mean, I really hate to burst your bubble, but there are a lot of them.
Are there?
Yes.
Name one.
Yeah, go on.
Harry Mack.
Who's that? That's a made up. You're just saying sounds.
Every name
Both sounded very Scottish as well. Harry McWhat.
Swear to fucking God, this podcast
McDonald's.
has gone off the...
McDonald's.
Oh, I know them. Yeah, real nice restaurant.
Oh, yeah, brother.
McDonald's, if you want to sponsor this podcast, I'll happily take it. Oh. Or any DJs, if you want to sponsor this podcast. Any rappers.
You're sitting next to a DJ.
You DJ.
You dickhead.
I was looking at Paul for the comedic effect there.
Or the Commedia de la...
That's for you.
Stop pressing it. So, do we have any stories that we'd like to finish on at all? Because I know Paul came with some notes. And
did, but
Claire,
I
you left
checked my
us into
list.
your house, which I feel like is more than enough work from you as well.
Oh, wait, are you saying I don't have to supply a story?
No, please do supply. But I was just trying to help you out.
I mean, one of my most memorable nights working at the aforementioned theatre restaurant where I was named after a utensil.
Spoon.
No, a collective noun of utensils.
Nothing sexy, just a utensil.
what you're
We
into.
actually had this. Now, as a pole dancer, I feel I can tell this story. So we had a wonderful group of, working pole dancers come in.
That's okay.
And
That's
they
not
were
a fine
being
thing
sort
to
of
say.
shepherded by a minder. You know, he was obviously in charge of taking care of.
I thought you said a minor. Like
A minder. A minder. Hard D.
I'll bet.
Hey, just see it.
Well, no. So anyway, they all showed up in a big limousine, big fancy night out on the town. He was like, girls, let loose. You know, he was paying for everything. They were all in, very skimpy outfits. They were there for a good time.
Right.
Now, the show obviously had adult content, and we kind of encouraged, even in our behavior working there, right? We sort of encouraged people to kind of let loose a little bit, be a bit
I was a
wacky.
miserable bastard for the most part. I don't know about you guys.
Well, it's because your nipples were sore.
They were, and
They
nobody
were.
gave me
How
any
can
attention
anyone
for
be
it.
happy when you've got chafed nipples?
I know.
So-
thank you. Finally, I can finally get all of this.
Just see, I am
Giving me all
being
these apologies
nice.
I've been waiting for. All of this, you're finally seeing me.
So I'm actually talking. So,
Sorry,
so
I'll mute myself.
by the end of the night, these girls had been loaded up on who knows what. They were quite excitable.
Cocaine and
by,
Blue Lagoon cocktails.
Oh, we can say cocaine on
Yes.
the podcast. Great. So they were loaded up on, and I actually know officially that they were doing cocaine and alcohol. And they themselves, being performers,
Yes.
they were quite carried away by the finale, and they decided to sort of commandeer a table that had been sort of vacated earlier in the night that was right at the front of the stage. And they decided to put on a performance of their own while the cast were performing. And when I say performance, now these were ladies that take their clothes off for a living.
Ladies that do that.
So yes, I can recommend a couple of places if you'd
were they-
like to see a woman for the first time.
Oh my god! Anyone, please shoot me a DM of places that I can find like this.
What table were they? At the
They were sort of right at the front of the catwalk.
Oh yeah.
Well, actually, the people the people at that table had left, and so they had sort of commandeered that table, and they were sort of doing a real performance during the finale. Several of the staff were getting a bit panicked because performers don't like to be interrupted when they're on stage. So we were a little
or on a
bit,
podcast.
yes, we were a little bit concerned. Sorry. We were a little bit concerned that the performers would be a bit distraught. These women were sort of taking the spotlight. But
Can you explain what the performance was that they were providing as well?
basically knee sliding, undies off, full flaps,
Wow.
akimbo
On the table that they were
on the
eating.
table, and they were just going ham. And
Where we ate our sweet potato mash
That-
and chicken breasts from, ladies.
only if you're terribly celiac. And they were
Celiac.
really going to town, and some of the staff were getting really distressed, and they were trying to get
Put
them
their underwear back
get
on them.
get them to settle
Yeah.
down. And it was very clear that we just completely lost control. And the best part was that the minder
Hard
he at the start of the night was
Especially at this
very
point.
jovial, and he was like, girls, let loose, have a great night, it's on me. By the end of the night, he was so beaten down. He was trying to collect them all from throughout the venue once the show had ended. So first of all, they'd done this huge performance on the table, pants off. And then he was trying to collect them all. And every time he put one in the limo, another one would squirt off back into the venue and be running around, tits out, having the best time ever. And he was so defeated by the end of the night.
Oh no.
But I was very grateful. I had 2 shows in one that night. I didn't. You pay good money for a show like that.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know, Seb. You,
No,
It's nice that
I don't have any money.
Yeah.
you can-
Anyone wants to sponsor this podcast?
God, it's so funny because usually you get a podcast with sponsorship breaks. Now we have sponsorship requests from your podcast.
The lack of sponsorship is breaking me.
Yeah, at least your podcast doesn't have ads.
No, that's true. You say it like that again. It's the same. All of these tones that you use, you're like, it doesn't have ads.
I'm saying that's a good thing for the listeners.
For the listeners,
Yes,
Jed's
it's great
face
for the
just looked
listeners.
like the most defeated man.
I am that minder with the hard D just now, beaten down by you two, sitting here,
I don't need to do
trying
nothing.
to put your underwear back on the pair of you.
Paul has been lovely to you.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's true. No, you both.
Also, did you fart before?
What define before?
None of us acknowledged
That
it.
is going to be the end of the podcast. Thank you, everyone. I would like to say thank you genuinely for both of you coming on. I know this was a little bit of a looser podcast, but
It's worth mentioning because we haven't seen each other together in a while.
yes, it's true as well.
Yeah,
so this
so-
is just a tax write-off for a catch-up. But again, like Claire lovingly mentioned, I don't have any ads, so
Yeah, there you
And
go.
we're not getting paid.
no.
We're here
You're not getting paid.
under duress.
Me either. Yeah, I'm not getting.
You live here, Claire.
You're in my house.
Which again, if anyone wants the address, shoot us a little DM afterwards.
I don't know.
I'll
We got
happily-
lost on the way here, so
Yeah.
we don't even know the address.
We're finishing this podcast. So if thank you very much for coming on. Who won't be forgetting that podcast. Now, Clare Manson, where can people find you if they want to?
Oh, do I give away my handle?
Your handle, your home address, your bank account, your national insurance number.
It's at Killer Claire, which incidentally is also my DJ name.
Fuck off.
that
As
killer-
of when? 3 months ago?
As of right now, when she came
Yeah,
up with it. Killer, Killer.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Like murderer.
And Claire without the I.
That's right, with a C.
Yes. This will be in the show notes as well, because I feel like I didn't make that any less clear.
Is that related to the Manson? Because Steve Manson.
No, I just think, when you're like, that's Killer.
Oh,
Claire's old, for anyone that's listening.
It took me about 3 months to come up with an Instagram handle. Okay, after I got rid of my utensil name, I was lost.
yeah.
I was identityless.
She was spoonless, forkless, knifeless.
My top drawer's empty. I've
So
got
if anyone wants to fill Claire's top drawers,
Oh, that was pretty good. That was pretty good.
I'm sorry, please don't do that as well. You can send me all the DMs you want. Please do not harass
top
Claire.
drawer doesn't even make sense.
Don't at me.
I don't know what it means.
You don't know a woman's body.
I've never even seen one. A woman.
Should we recap what a queef is?
Oh, please. After the podcast, because I really do want to finish this just now.
Fair.
So we can find you on Instagram. When's your next DJ set coming up?
Pending.
Pending.
TBC.
So just hang out on Chapel Street over the weekends. Probably find Claire there. Ask her to bring her USB around for you.
Oh, bring me some headphones.
Oh, and buy her some headphones as well. Yeah, perfect.
Sony, sponsor the podcast.
Yeah, Sony. Bose.
Sennheiser.
Fuck, Ankle. The Kmart home brand. I'll take that.
Not that one that what's the one that,
Dre. Beats.
yeah, not that one.
Yeah.
Moving on. Paul, where can we find you?
At Paul Westbrook actor. No E.
An actor? No,
In-
there's
no.
no.
Are you an
correct.
actor?
No. Well, the hand was
Paul. There.
the way she reached over. Or
Paul Westbrook actor on Instagram.
yes, or Late Cut Media as well, which is my photography and videography business.
So anyone that wants to reach out to Paul, he does shoot over, I'd say most of Australia as well.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like always touring and stuff, but also do travel anyway for shoots and stuff.
Yeah. So
You're
if
very
you-
good.
It is
Yeah,
actually
thanks.
surprisingly good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks, yeah.
shockingly good.
And Rouge coming up as well later on in the year.
Yeah, from September onwards, really. Which
Touring
will be
Circus show. So check
yeah.
out Rouge. Is that just Rouge the Show on Instagram?
At Rouge the Show. Yeah.
At Rouge the Show on Instagram or any of the other social media platforms
Mm-hmm.
as well. The same as every week, you can find the show Won't Be Forgetting That Pod across most of the social media platforms. You can find myself, Seb Muirhead, Muirhead, across most of the social media platforms as well. If you go into the show notes of the episode as well, there's a few little links in there which does genuinely help support the podcast. I know that we were joking about that a little bit beforehand. I'm going to have to love you and leave you with this episode because, my God, that was a beautiful mess. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.